Hello, I'm VX and welcome back to the video. Today I want to talk about the Xbox 360 edition of Minecraft. This is really where a lot of it all began, both for my channel, but also for the console edition of Minecraft. Back in May of 2012, this edition of the game released. Until that, between that time and now, it's sold over 20 billion copies. That's right, about 1 in 6 Minecraft sales altogether are not just for the console version of Minecraft, but they're for one specific console version of Minecraft, the Xbox 360. So given that so many people, millions to this day still play Minecraft on the 360, I figured I would talk about this edition, show it off a little bit because you might want to see it, but then also talk a little bit about exactly what's going on with the future of this game, because we've heard murmurs that at some point it will stop updates for years now, but it's never came to be the case. And some people might question, why is that not happening? Or some people who still play it are like, oh, how long can I keep my 360 for? And I figured I'd answer that question in today's video by talking about when consoles go out of their lifespan and when you'll stop seeing updates for the one of the oldest versions of Minecraft that does exist. So hopefully you do enjoy this video. Like if you do like it, because it helps out the channel a lot and lets me know you do like this sort of video. But just keep in mind that in the background, this is me playing live in my Let's Play world, one of my oldest worlds I have in this 360. It's one of the last worlds I went into before I expanded the world on the Xbox One and transferred it, and haven't been back ever since. So yeah, it's my if you don't recognize the Let's Play world, or I stopped to point out something, I'm sorry if you don't get the reference if you're not a long-time subscriber. But yeah, basically it's a very old world, and it's something that makes me nostalgic, which we'll be talking about a little bit as we go along and talk about the 360's end date. Because basically, to this day, you might think, wait, a 360 has an end date? Well, basically the way they've hinted it is they're not going to stop Xbox 360 updates because they want to. They're never just going to be like, oh yeah, this isn't worth supporting. At least that's not the intention. What is going to happen though is eventually the Xbox 360 as a whole, not just Minecraft Xbox 360, the Xbox 360 platform will stop allowing updates and it will expire. It'll kind of like cease continuity. And the reason for that is because, having these servers up and having all the things working is eventually going to be too much of a burden for it to be worth it to them. And you might hear that and be like, whoa, that's terrifying. Like my 360's at some point going to stop working. And I think, when they do that, they're going to update it and make it so there is some replacement, presumably. But yeah, basically, yeah, every console to this date has had some expiry date, whether that's, end of life support, end of manufacturing. Every console eventually stops being supported because newer, better ones come out. And a big example of this, one of the longest runs, because, you can buy a SNES today, you can buy Super Mario World for it, it'll work just fine, but they're no longer producing brand new SNESes, they're no longer producing brand new copies of Super Mario World, and that's why both those things are expensive. But basically, a recent example of a product ceasing, development was the PlayStation 2. The PlayStation 2 was the most successful console of all time, if I'm not mistaken, and by being the most successful console of all time, it had an exceptionally long launch life, which went from 2000 to around about 2013. That's when they stopped supporting it, and that's when the last games came out, towards the end of 2013. That's right, that was when the PS3 had, been out for a very long time, and the PS4, I think it either just about come out or it was about to come out. So you gotta bear in mind, 13 years for a launch cycle, which when you put that on the Xbox 360, 13 years suggests 2008 would be the end, which is scary, given that, the Xbox 360 is somewhere close to as successful as the PS2, but you gotta bear in mind it's not that simple, for a couple of reasons actually. The first one is that the transition from last gen to this gen has been as exceptionally slow and kind of not really happening at the same time. People are still buying 360s to this day because they want a cheap console alternative. A 360 is good enough. Look at this. This is playing full Minecraft today, TU57, it's playing all the normal stuff, and therefore it's acceptable for people to buy it today in some cases. I wouldn't, personally, as someone who likes high-end tech, I wouldn't say it's, that acceptable, but if you just, you want to get a cheap console, play some games, you can do this for like less than $100 or something, which is nuts for a console that actually runs pretty well to this day. So yeah, to this day people are buying it, and that means, it's going to keep on having sales because it's kind of marketed as like a budget Xbox One in some ways. But then there's also the secondary fact of the thing that there is an online system that's still making Microsoft money today. Again, you got to bear in mind they're going to stop producing the console at some point, but the online's going to last much longer because there is still money to be made on it online, and it's, kind of making up for the fact they're losing profits. The first way they're making money is Xbox Live Gold subscriptions. Obviously, a lot of people are paying for Gold just to play on their 360s, so that makes things worthwhile. And the other thing is the fact that they're selling DLCs. They're still selling Minecraft to this day. Minecraft only went over 20 million, 4 years after it came out, and it's probably past like 21 million by now. Lots of people buy these games for the platform after the fact. So even though 13 years of, a launch cycle life before the 360s ended would suggest sometime next year it's going to end, I would actually say 13 years is probably the short end of the stick. That's when they'll start stopping service. But like Microsoft has shown before, with Windows XP, even though they want to stop something at a certain date, it's just too hard to stop supporting something like this when so many people use it. There are almost 100 million, it's very close to 100 million Xbox 360s out there in the world, and stopping support for them all at once doesn't really make too much sense. So they'll start making big gestures to stopping support, I would actually guess in 2018, but we won't actually see the end of support for quite some time to that day. So the time that support stops is probably some time where it almost is unprofitable, or it is unprofitable, or it's looking like it's about to become unprofitable. And exactly when that happens is, in my opinion, way, way, way far in the future. So if you want even more proof that the Xbox is still going to be supported for many years to come, and therefore we'll still see updates in this Minecraft, which again, it's so cool to see this world, right? The reason we'll still see updates in Minecraft for many years to come is because of the fact that they're going to keep on receiving revenue, and you can even see Microsoft supporting it themselves by paying money or making some developers. To this day, for Games of Gold, you can still get free games. I'd show you on the dashboard, but you can't do that in this version. But basically, you can still get free Games of Gold. They're still going through this effort, so it's something they're supporting very implicitly. You can still see, the occasional Xbox 360 game release. Again, it's not the most common thing anymore, but it is still something that does happen. Basically, while all of this is happening, you just cannot see the Xbox 360 going anywhere right away. We'll start to see the gestures very shortly, but if I had to guess, because again, we have all those things pointing towards, like, well, Microsoft will support it for a long time, really, I'd say it depends on Microsoft's future console viability. They seem like, with their release of the Xbox One X and stuff, that they really want to have, like, long life consoles, and they want to just keep on extending the generations, and that could keep applying to the 360 for as long as there are people still here. So, again, at some point, there will be a deadline. If I had to guess, just pulling this out of nowhere, we've never had a online-enabled console, which relies on online, just end and die and stuff. So, given that fact, I would say we have at least 3, 4, 5 years till the 360 still support, and in fact, I would say at some point in there, maybe supporting Minecraft becomes a bad thing, but I still think that means we have at least a couple of years of Minecraft 360 updates. Again, unless something crazy happens with 4J. I know we're in turbulent times where they could just decide, like, oh yeah, we only work on the Bedrock version, but let's assume that doesn't happen because it's kind of out there and really just based on nothing but, like, my theories. So if assuming that they do keep working on the console version, we'll see the 360 receive updates for many years to come, for years and years and years and years, and at the very least, like, a couple of 3 years, because the 360 is still running Minecraft just fine. Like, it's getting shakier and shakier, but the console version of Minecraft is still based on the 360. They make sure it can still run on the 360 before they export to other platforms. The 360 is still their primary platform. Of all the Minecraft console copies ever sold to the state by 4J Studios, I still believe the majority of them are on the Xbox 360, and that's something that you've got to remember when we go through this. So yeah, end of Xbox 360, I'd say 2020 plus, like 2020 is like the earliest you'd see it, 2020, like, then put a number at the end, like 2, 3. By the time, it has to be at a point where, like, most people have stopped playing their 360s, and it's mostly an offline thing anyway, and then they can shut down the online servers, and even off that point, you'll still be able to play your 360, it's just online functionality will be limited. So yeah, Minecraft updates till probably 2018, 2019. Again, PS2 lifespan suggests 2018, but there's so many reasons it can go beyond then, and there's so many reasons it will go beyond then, and then Minecraft, the 360 as a whole, lasts much long beyond that. So yeah, a part of me actually wanted to make the video, just because it's kind of depressing whenever you realize, like, oh yeah, all consoles do have a lifespan. At some point, this thing that, you kind of picture in your head lasting forever, eventually will be replaced by something else. It's kind of weird, and again, I'd say depressing, but depressing isn't quite the right word, but there's this weird kind of fact to it where it's like, oh yeah, I guess that does happen, but the truth is it's not always a bad thing. Like, there's going to be new console generations, at least another one after this one, we'll see after that, but there's going to be new consoles, there's going to be new replacements, and by the time these things happen, it's because most people have moved on. It's rarely, this sort of thing, even though it sounds depressing on the surface, it really is just that most people have moved on, so Microsoft themselves move on to, and for the most part, and that's how just console developing works. Like, you can't support the consoles forever, because otherwise they'd still make NESs today and still support the NES, and that seems ridiculous, right? Like, no one's playing a NES thinking it's a new console, and that's eventually where the 360 will be, which is a crazy place to think about, but that's what will happen. So before we go today, I just wanted to kind of show off the render distance, because from up here in the sugarcane farm, you can really see, like, it's only like 10 chunks on this version, but you still, that's going to lower over time to support new features, but since they have so much technical room to work with, it's possible that they could last for a very long time. But yeah, it's crazy just seeing, like, how limited what you can see is. Oh look, my castle's still there. Like, so many things are actually still here to this day, and it's fun to look at. So anyway, with that said, I hope you all enjoyed today's video. I hope you learned something about something, or at the very least that you enjoyed it. You can like the video if you did like it, because it helps out the channel a lot, and let us know you do like this sort of video. You can share it if you really liked it, and you can subscribe if you're new around here, because I make videos like this one every single day on my channel, and if you subscribe, you'll see them daily on your homepage. Thank you very much for watching, and, goodbye.